every day that I played basketball, I woke up thinking about how I could be better. And I was reassessing myself every single day to be the best me to win.
So this year, he came to camp, there you go, and said, lift me at 7 feet. He is now second to only.
What's going on?
Nothing, another day.
You feeling good?
Thing, right? Yeah,
what?
Everything's great. I'll do it this way. Yeah, I kept telling you I was here. I don't know what happened.
No, they updated the freaking Instagram, so I couldn't find the goddamn live. and when you're Channing, you're not old like me, but when you're getting old like me, that shit freaks you out.
Now listen, look, new updates. I'm almost 40, so new updates that's too much. I got to ask my kids what to do with it.
Exactly. Channing, welcome to Self-Made.
Thank you.
So you know who I am, and your fans know I own a wine and liquor company. I own a whole bunch of brands. My past brands, I don't know if you remember Ace of Spades.
Oh yeah. Come on now.
Douce, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Douce.
Oh yeah.
Bel Air. My new ones are Bamboo, Rum, and now McQueen. And I started this series a few years ago called Self-Made. It's all about the fact that when I see people holding these bottles, whether it's Ace of Spades or Bel Air, Bamboo, it meant something. You've achieved something. You've done something. And I hate hearing about success. I love hearing about the hard work to get there because that's what inspires me. So I start out the same way, and I get to interview everybody from Post Malone to Rick Ross to Warren Sapp, Muggsy Bogues in your sport.
Right.
What does self-made, Channing, mean to you?
I think for me, it just depends on what motivates you. Like for me, every day that I played basketball, I woke up thinking about how I could be better. And I was reassessing myself every single day to be the best me to win. Right. So every day when I woke up, I said, well, look, I want to eat French toast, but if I eat healthy, I'm going to practice better. If I practice better, I'm going to play better. If I play better, then my team is going to have a better chance to win. So like to be self-made and to be self-motivated is to have an idea in your mind of who you are or what you want to accomplish, and then put your head down and run through walls, right? Or to create doors that weren't there, or to be motivated. Sometimes I wake up at 2, 3 in the morning just because I'm dreaming and I want to write down a note of like, how can I get my wine, or how can I, be a better announcer of basketball, or how can I, be a better dad. So to me, being self-made is being self-motivated. And I'm not motivated by being famous. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by putting, for my wine especially, is putting the best product I can and portraying what I have in my mind in, branding, in our Instagram posts, and through the people that I talk to and communicate about it.
Where do you think that comes from?
Honestly, I think it comes from humility, right? I was never the greatest basketball player. And throughout my career, I played on 6 different teams in 14 years. I've sat, I've been traded, I got DMPs, I've been a champion. I've been 1 for 22 in a playoff game, and then I've gone maybe like 8 for 9 later in my career. So for me, being motivated doesn't come from the wins or losses, because if it does, that motivation is going to stop eventually. My motivation is being the best me every day. And whatever I put my hands on, I want to make sure that I give it 110%. And that seems cliche, but like I literally have books here from, like all these books are about wine and bettering yourself and better communication. And, now that I'm done playing basketball, like I played basketball, I'm 37. I played basketball 37 years of my life, right? So this is my first month and a half, 2 months of doing wine, of being a CEO of a wine company. So I'm learning, and I could not be happier taking these challenges on and just being okay with not being comfortable.
When you look back on, take me through before the NBA, was basketball always, was that your first love? Was that what you wanted to do?
No, I so when I grew up, my dad was like, I was always tall. So I was like 6'2" in the 6th grade. But imagine as a kid, I was growing 2 inches every year. So I was very awkward, right? And then the skills, it's hard for somebody to play basketball when you can't even like walk in front of your feet. They're like you're tripping. So for me, I loved animals. I love the ocean, even though I get seasick every time. I love fishing. So I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist. So my parents bought me this book. They would drive me every summer to SeaWorld in San Diego from Phoenix, every summer. And I would spend the whole day there and just in awe of these animals. And so what basketball was an emotional and physical outlet for me. It's where I made my friends. It's where I really had conversations with myself about how much I wanted something and how much how could I push myself a little bit every day, right? Because if anybody who's ever worked out really, really hard for something, when your coach says, okay, 2 more down and backs, and you're exhausted and you're like, I can't do any more, something happens in your brain where you go, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it and get it done.
Yeah.
And, I've tried to take that attitude in the business side of like, I have these ideas and these dreams about where I want my wine brand or wine label to go to, but I'm going to have to go through a lot of conditioning to get used to that, to make sure that I'm at peak condition in this new business world. So, for me, I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to be in this realm. I'm excited and I'm motivated. Obviously, you guys are successful. I tried your champagne. It's amazing what it's amazing what really good winemakers and champagne makers are doing nowadays, and they just don't get enough credit.
So I guess, and I'm going to jump around, but if we stick with the wine right now, you go from, I can just imagine stopping something you've been doing for 37 years. If you don't have a plan, what the fuck do you do? Retiring, the best advice, which is the most simple advice, is you've got to retire to something.
Yeah.
Did you retire to something, or you just you stopped and now you got to go figure it out again?
I think, okay, so there was a time in my career where I thought I was on top of the world, and then a doctor told me I was about to die, right? They thought I had a heart issue. And so all your plans and whatever the fuck you thought you were going to do, that go completely out the window. So for me, this was 2014. They told me I couldn't play basketball for 7 months, right? For a whole year, basically. And I had to come to grips with, that idea of God, and me and him or her had a long conversation, a lot of long conversations of, is it worth it? And our conversation goes, it's not about, is it worth it? Are you ready to start from nothing and work your way out? Are you ready to heal yourself from the beginning or from the inside and build yourself out that way? Because physically I was there. Mentally, it was hard for me to say, is this worth it? Is it worth my family? And so throughout my course of my career after that, I appreciated every single opportunity I had to meet people who were just as good as what I was at basketball at whatever they were. So I was just a beacon for knowledge. Just tell me why you're good at that. Or like, I was on teams with LeBron and Kevin Love, and like, to me, they are brand masters. So I was always learning from them. Like, why do you post this? Or why do you only wear this? Or what is it? Why is this important? So I'm just learning. And then, so after I retired, or when I knew I was going to retire, I knew I loved basketball. And I love basketball. I could watch it every day, all day. And I like talking about it. And I felt like I was going to set myself up to have a career in announcing, which I do.
Sure.
But something came up with wine. And I had an opportunity to work with a top-notch young friend of mine out here in Oregon to do a brand that's my way, or that's our way. Sorry, my way is wrong. That's doing it our way. That's direct to consumer. That, like I said, there are so many winemakers out here that are amazing that just don't have the outlet that I do.
Sure.
The 390, 340, whatever thousand people that I get access to.
You can speak to, correct.
Right, exactly. So for me, let me be a megaphone for them, especially because I love what they're doing. But I'm like, how can I share this? But like us, how can I share us to them, you know, because a lot of people don't get a chance to try Oregon Pinot Noir or Oregon Chardonnay or, you know, Walla Walla Syrah and different wines like that.
So I'm curious, Channing, you sound, your podcast is awesome. And your ability to speak basketball is fantastic, but you sound more passionate about wine than you do that.
Basketball, I am very passionate about what's right in front of me. Now, if we wanted to go off and talk basketball, I could be just as passionate about that.
Sure.
But, you know, right now I do have a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Actually, my favorite Chardonnay right in front of me. It's like from Frye. It's a 2015 Chardonnay. And this was the inspiration for my Chardonnay. And, you know, somebody says, like, to talk basketball, the way I talk basketball on Twitter, on Instagram, or on TV, or NBA TV, is how I would talk in a barbershop or how I would talk in my house on my sofa. And so for me, I have to be who I am all the time.
You're passionate about it, so you're in it. That's it. You're in it.
Love it. I like when I do my show Handles and Turner on NBA TV on Wednesdays during the regular season, I legit, if you see my clips, every single game, I'm into it, like I was there. And so when I was on the bench at the end of my career, I was talking to the young guys like I'm talking to you. I'm like, or like I would say, that's a bullshit shot. Don't shoot that.
Yeah.
Or, hey, that would be crazy if James Harden did go to Toronto, right? Or, you know, if, you know, or did the Bucks get better, right, with this trade for Drew Holiday? So all these things are fine with me. And I'm not saying I'm right, because most of the time I'm probably wrong. Nobody knows what's going behind, but I love these conversations. I love the passion. I love it.
How do you,
NBA fans are the best.
Do you, I'm curious on that one. Do you find, can you have a filter?
Yeah, I don't cuss on NBA TV, but
forget the cussing. But just, I'm trying to imagine if Channing Frye was talking about Channing Frye, the basketball player, how would you react to that guy talking about you? You know what I mean?
If he was talking about me as a human?
No, then, just like you're talking about, you know what?
Oh, no. That's fine. Listen, I have had some amazing leaders in my time, guys that were way better than me, Hall of Fame basketball players. Now, if you don't have thick enough skin, you're the one that put the product out there. Yeah. If I sell you a bottle of wine and there's a cockroach in it, that's me. That's on me. I did that because I didn't check the quality, right? So for me, when I play basketball, if we can't go over film and you tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'm not Michael Jordan.
And that's where the humility comes in, correct?
Absolutely, right.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk about a player, it is never about them as a person, because I think there are some amazing guys doing amazing things in the league. When I talk about a player's game, it is my understanding of how to win in the NBA and whether is he playing winning basketball or is that a winning shot. That is it. That is absolutely it. It is not about how they dress, their opinions, or their political parties or whatever. It is strictly basketball.
So on the website, on your wine, which you'll have to send me, which I'll buy.
Right.
Chosen Family Wines. It's under your bio. It says everyone's favorite teammate. Why?
Professional athletes need to be reminded that it's a fucking game. That it is a blessing to be able to be out there on the court for max 48 minutes, max. So you work so hard. Your parents have sacrificed, your grandparents, your uncles, everybody has sacrificed for these games, these 82 games that can be taken away at any moment. Appreciate this. Smile a little bit. And at the end of the day, when I tell you, you play like crap, guess what? You have another chance in 2 days, you big dummy. Sure. Right. It's not the end of the world. Oh, my gosh, you're playing basketball. You lost. Why'd you lose? Maybe you should have lifted weights. Maybe you should have ate better. Maybe you should have meditated so you don't have anxiety before the game, right? This is evaluating yourself. If you're scared to evaluate yourself, you should not be in the NBA. So I have to remind guys, listen, you should always appreciate that little, even if it's 10 minutes, just appreciate that time and take advantage of it, because that 10 could turn into 40.
Do people listen?
People listen through consistency, and they know every team I've ever played on, I played behind the all-star, right, at my position. So, yeah, I've sat the bench a lot. But for me, they listen, and what I've seen is through the leaders that I think have influenced me the most is consistency. I can say something, but if I don't do it in the gym, if I don't do it in the game, whether we're winning or losing, we could be up 30, we could be down 30. I'm still going to have the same attitude, right? Because even if we're down 30 and you get your garbage minutes, take advantage of that. Get in shape, right? Get better.
If you could have gone pro your junior year, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I had too much pride in wearing the uniform, and I sat with our players, and I said, we got beat in the first round by, I forgot, some scrubby team. Oh, God, I forgot who it was. Now I erased that. But I was like, man, I'm not done. Like, the NBA is going to be there. And I promised Coach Olson, God bless him, passed away recently, that before I left, I would give everything to the school because he gave me a chance as this low ranked guy to go to the opportunity to go to Arizona. So I took advantage of it.
Would you change anything?
No way. To go to the Knicks, to meet Isaiah, to be around, to play in the Garden for my parents before they passed away, to see me play in the Knicks uniform was everything. It made the rest of my career that much better. It was awesome.
Did you think you could go pro back in high school?
Hell no.
So
I barely got a scholarship. I had to sign my junior year. No, all I thought about was the next step, the next day. I was so hungry to be the best in my bubble that I wasn't even worried about like anything else. I was oblivious to the NBA in high school.
So who recruited you out of high school?
So it started with New Mexico State, Grand Canyon, Virginia Tech, like Oklahoma State, like those very good schools, but low D1. And then I went to a couple camps, and assistant coach Jay John from Arizona came, and he goes, "What schools are you thinking about?" And I was like, "I don't know, whatever anybody, whatever's on the plate." And he goes, "Hey, come to this camp, this summer." I said, "All right." So I went down to Tucson, went to a camp, and they were like, "All right, we want you." And one of my best friends, Richard Jefferson, was already there. So they started recruiting me. But as the recruiting went, everyone was like, "Oh, man, I'm getting all these letters and telling me how good I am." My letters were, "Channing, you need to get in the weight room. Let's watch this film. You need to play harder. This is what you need to do unless you want to get redshirted your freshman year." So my senior year, we got done April 28th. I was on campus at summer school May 1st. So my senior year, I completely didn't even hang out that summer. I went right to school, right into the weight room, and was in there 2-3 times a day working on my game. It was pretty crazy. I was just like, what's next?
Who put it in? I love when Warren Sapp, who is a great friend of mine, but he was a tight end out of high school. He was not good. It was Coach O of LSU when he went to Miami basically said, "I'm going to make you a fantastic defensive lineman." And look what's that. Like someone got it in his head and made him think, "I'm going to be something." Did that happen with you? How do you go from somebody who's not recruited to the number 8 pick? How does that happen?
So my parents had everything to do with that. Both my parents, they were the best passive-aggressive ninjas of all time, right? So my dad would take me to the park when I was younger and wake me up on Saturdays at like 5:36 and be like, "Go down there. We're going to drop you off at the Kiwanis Park, and you're going to play against grown men from 6 till 2. And he would sit there, right? He'd get a coffee. He'd sit there. He'd read his paper. And every time he lost, he'd be like, if I smiled, he'd be like, "Well, that feels good." He goes, "That feels good. You should have won that game." And then he would go back to reading this thing, and I would start to get mad. He goes, "Didn't you run?" Like, because I would wake up and just run to get in better shape. And he'd be like, man, you're doing all this work to be a loser. And I'm like, damn. And then all of a sudden, I expected to win because of the work that I did. Now, if I lost, I would ask the person who bust my ass what they did or what did they do when they had to approach me. Because I'm, 6'7", 6'8". But when you play grown men got that grown man strength. So I had to learn how to play against those guys. And I would take my lumps and then learn humility. Like, hey, what was it? My dad would make me go to the man and say, hey, good game, even though I'm pissed. And I'd be like, man, I just want to know what your approach was towards me. And he'd be like, well, you're tall and you're standing straight up. So I just wanted to elbow you in your gut, right? And then you left me alone. So then I'd be like, all right, people are going to try to elbow me. I got to elbow them first. And then that type of attitude of like, prepare to win. And if you don't, learn why you didn't. Can prepare harder.
When did the NBA become realer, or that idea come in? When did that happen?
When I got drafted. So I was supposed to be a late first-round pick right up until my senior year of Arizona. And then I had a crazy good NCAA tournament that I signed with Rob Pelinka, the agent.
Yeah.
We started to go to Tim Grover's in Chicago, and I did no workouts for any team. And I ended up getting drafted 8th. But what I didn't know at the time was people were coming and were like, hey, who's this kid? They were like, yo, this is that kid Channing Frye. Like, he works hard as shit. He's in here every day, twice a day. He's busting his ass when they're playing games, and he doesn't back down to anybody. And Isaiah Thomas took a liking to that, and I got drafted.
So I asked Sapp and I asked Muggsy the same thing. What's the difference between a guy who can spend 14 years in the NBA and a guy who can't stay in it?
I love this word. Number one, are you a pro? And who do you think you are? And does that equate to winning? Right? So let's say I come out of college, right? And let's say in high school and college, I was the man and all I did was score. Score. So I get drafted by a team. And now I'm playing with 2 other all-stars. Can you humble yourself, wait for your time, but continue to grow your game? So now you're just not a black hole. Like, you actually have teammates who are better than you. A pro evolved. I never shot threes. I was a center in college, turned to a forward, right? And then played some center my rookie year. And then I remember the time I had to play Shaq in Miami in 2005. I was guarding him semi-good the first 3 quarters. 4th quarter, he looked at me and goes, sorry, little Frye, and elbowed the shit out of me into the stanchion and dunked it. And I said, you know what? This center stuff ain't for me.
It's not for you.
It ain't for me. So I ended up going to Portland. I learned how to win there. I was getting my ass bust, guarding LaMarcus Aldridge every single day. But I learned how to win, and I learned how to guard centers. Then I got my first opportunity in Phoenix, like real opportunity. And Alvin Gentry, Steve Nash, Amari, all those guys, Jason Richardson, Grant Hill. Those were the leaders that taught me how to prepare to win, and if you didn't, how to prepare better. But ever since then, I just evolved every year in my career. It's like I started half those games, then I started all the next games, then I went back to the bench, and then I started some other teams. So I've been all around the world when it comes to every position in basketball.
When you were traded to Cleveland, were you unbelievably happy at the opportunity that, you know what, this could be it? They want me for a reason, and now we can go win something?
No, I was in Orlando, so I was like, get me the fuck out of here. It was just so dysfunctional. The first thing, because Griff, the GM that traded for me, was the assistant GM of Phoenix, who gave me my chance with Steve Kerr. When I got traded there, the first thing that went to my mind was, oh, shit. Like, I went from the worst team to the best team. And I go, am I prepared for this? Right? Because I was, I didn't know if I was going to get traded or not. But I'm on a booty team in Orlando, not going for anything, to now a team that's trying to win a chip. So luckily, LeBron was a great leader. Richard Jefferson, Kyrie, those guys, Kevin, Tristan, were like, hey, we need to catch you up to speed of how quick we do things. So that's work before. Practice at 11. I'm there at 8. And stay until 2, going over the playbook, working out with Bron, doing extra conditioning, doing extra lifting, just really just preparing myself to like be ready for when my time came.
What percentage of the league do you think has your work ethic, has your ideals of what you should be doing for yourself and for your team?
Nowadays?
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe 70 to 80.
Really? That high?
Yeah, but here's the problem is that we have phones and social media. So what happens is guys get okay with losing. You know, back in the day, if you lost, the only people that you could look to for comfort was your family. And most of the time they were keeping it real with you. Like, yo, you shot that too many times, that's why you lost. Young kids nowadays, they'll get all the stats in the world. When I call them loser stats, they'll get all these stats and say, oh, it's not my fault. Then they'll look on their phone, even though they got beat by 40, and all these people are like, oh, you did so good tonight. Look at your stats and, you know, showering them. But isn't the point, like, basketball's not about numbers. It's about letters, like winning and losing, right? You know, playing in Arizona, most of us didn't average 30, 40 points a night. Some nights we would get 12 and win by 30. That's great. All it's about is winning. Just win and move on. Win and move on. That's it.
So some history questions. Who was your favorite player growing up?
Hakeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, probably for sure.
Because they're big guys? You eliminated the big guys?
At the time, yeah. And I just felt like Hakeem Olajuwon was giving everybody buckets. Everybody buckets. And I just love his attitude. You know, for me, what he did in Houston, like just his footwork, his agility. And then for Tim Duncan, you know, being able to play against him, just his consistency. I think people forget about him because he was quiet. But this man had never not gone to the playoffs in 20 years. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Never. He was busting everybody's ass.
Who was your favorite player while playing?
I had three. Number one, have to be Dirk. I just felt like he was impossible to guard. To guard.
Yeah.
Man, this is hard. Number two, honestly, don't tell him I said this, was D Wade. Don't tell him I said this. Fuck that dude. That's like my guy. He's like one of my favorite teammates. We were only teammates for 7 months. And then
Have you tried his wine?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's good.
All right. Yours is better though.
No. Wait, no. That's one thing I never say because
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I get weird when people say that because I'm like, hey, listen.
I'm just kidding.
And
Who's
then number three would be Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy, and obviously I'm close fourth and fifth would be Kobe and LeBron, right? But Brandon Roy, to me, as his teammate, to see people sleep on him, he was busting everybody's ass. He was unstoppable, and barely could jump unless he had to. I saw him get his knees drained and go give Phoenix 52 points the same night. Bananas.
Wow. Do you think in the NBA today, do you think there are players that are better than they are coached? Meaning they could do more somewhere else. They could be much more it can happen for them. They're just not in the right spot or they don't see it.
Yeah. I think opportunity and so the way the NBA works is like if you go to a talented team and that team is very good and they want to win, they're most likely going to make you earn it. And I'm going to use examples as Andre Iguodala went to the 76ers when they had Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Paul George was on the Indiana Pacers when they had Danny Green, Derek West, or David West, those teams. Kawhi Leonard went to the Spurs. D. Wade they started to build around D. Wade in Miami, right? And so those guys end up doing better. because they've had to earn it, right? So there are a lot of guys that haven't learned how to earn their time yet. They've just been given it. Now, when they learn how to earn their time and they learn how to make winning plays consistently, that's when their peak is hit, to me, as a player. And a lot of these guys, for instance, a lot of the guys from New York right now, they're just in a assess talent mode. Or guys right now from Cleveland, they're in a assess talent mode, so they're given minutes. You're not going to see them be their best until they actually have to earn it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
If you fuck up, you know somebody's coming off the bench to come get your time. You're going to pay attention to what you're doing out there, and you're going to dive on the ball. You're going to make those winning plays. You're going to make that extra pass because that's going to get you an extra minute on the court. Because coach is going to say, "Damn, we're winning. I can't take them out."
Do you think you could be a coach?
I wouldn't. I can't deal with. I can't deal with that many people at one time. Like I can't.
No, that's a good. I get that. I see what you're saying.
Upper management. I'm an idea guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you want? Who can we get? Let's go with the idea. Somebody say, do the numbers work? Yes or no? For me, I have ideals, and I think winning comes from culture, not from talent.
Winning comes. Do you think you can build? All right. So do you think you could build a team? You think you can in the NBA, and it hasn't happened? Can you build a champion without having a superstar?
Nowadays, no.
You think it's impossible? You couldn't pick 5 players, put them together who are not in the top 10 and win.
No, because LeBron is in the NBA. In Miami's culture of winning is too good. Toronto's culture, but you give me 4 guys who are in a coach and a GM that are all in one page. And the culture is about winning, and that's it. And I could put any superstar on that team. If they want to win, we're going to win a chip.
When you hear about Harden going to the Nets, does that, as a fan of basketball, how does that make you feel?
I'm curious. I also feel like how is that going to work? I'm curious to see if it does, but I'm also like I said, and the real reason I said Toronto, right, is because I feel like James Harden is so underappreciated for what he does, right? Because his game is impossible to emulate.
Yeah.
No one else can do that. So we hate on things that we don't understand. So for me to go to Toronto, where they have a culture of playing defense, winning, hard-nosed guys, if he can go there, it'll change his narrative of, is he not a winner? Because James Harden, since he's been in Houston, remember, he was a 6th man in Oklahoma City, went to Houston, and they have not missed the playoffs since he's been there.
Sure.
His career has gone every year. Do you know how hard it is to get better every single year when you're the man?
Yeah.
And so they created a system that only he can do. So to go to a place like Toronto, and obviously there's other options, he would be surrounded by people that do things better than what he does, which, I mean, defensively. He's top 2, top 3 in NBA in offense. They are top 2, top 3 on defense. So to surround him with people who do things that he necessarily doesn't do well is what he needs to do. So going to the Nets where they do that, I don't see where that helps.
Channing, what's next for you? Do you set goals? Do you have a plan? Do you think about tomorrow?
I used to struggle with bad anxiety because I'm a web thinker, right? Yeah. So I think, okay, tomorrow if I do this, what if this happens? What if that happens? And then it just spreads out. When I had my heart issue, I was doing yoga every single day. And the thing that stuck with me was meditating. So every day I take like 10 minutes. The most I've done is 40 in one spot, which is hard. Right?
Yeah.
But meditation for anybody that is dealing with anxiety now because of COVID, because of the presidential election, whether you were sad or happy, whatever, I don't care. Taking 10 minutes and just shutting the fuck up and listening to yourself will absolutely rejuvenate you. So for me to think about tomorrow would be disrespecting this opportunity that I have with my family that I may never get again.
Yeah.
And so if I'm always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? I'm gonna fuck up on my operations of what I need to get done now. I just can't. I can't. I try not to. I like to plan. I like vacations. I can't plan shit right now because of COVID.
But it also, you seem, a lot of what you say, it resonates with me. But it also, at the same time, I can imagine you saying, God, I'm thinking too much.
Oh, way too much.
I'm thinking too much. I'm overanalyzing everything. There's too much, I'm almost trying too hard can actually hurt you, if you know what I mean.
You know what? When you're trying too hard, when it comes to the wine business, you need to hire somebody that doesn't try that hard, that can catch you up to speed about what you don't know.
Exactly.
So for me, I have surrounded myself with 3 different people that are so good at what they do, but they can't do what I do, that every day I'm learning from them. Like, I'm the CEO, and so every day I know what my job is, but I'm trying to learn a little bit of their job so that we can, and they're trying to do a little bit of my job so that we can better ourselves. We can elevate each other.
Yep.
Right.
On that note, Channing, anything I can do, we play a big role in the wine and spirits world. So anything I can do to help you guys, please ask. Please ask.
I will. Yeah, we'll reach out. Even if it's
anything I can do.
talk.
Yeah, I've got all the scars to prove 20 plus years of this. So, but anything.
Oh, man.
But before we end, I do a quick word association. I'm going to ask you one word. Give me a one-word answer. All right.
All right.
Richard Jefferson.
Oh, ugly.
Wildcats.
Oh, greatest. Huh?
MSG, Madison Square Garden.
Oh, Mecca.
Trailblazers.
Home.
LeBron.
Goat.
Tobias Harris.
Cousin. Congrats. He just got engaged.
Congrats. Chosen Wines.
Delicious.
Lute Olson.
Mentor.
NBA Twitter Live.
Fun.
All right. Channing, I love talking to you.
This is the best, man. Thank you.
I love it. I think, again, I love these conversations because I need motivation, and I get motivated by listening to people and how they got to where they are, and hearing you talking about being humble and constantly, and you did it from a young age, that idea that you're asking somebody, hey, how did you do that? And how can I learn from you? To me, that's inspiring, because the beauty is you're accepting that, you know what, I'm not there. And as long as you accept that, you're always going to get better. Always. Yeah. And
which is
I've been doing
so tight.
Correct. So I think it's awesome. I love talking to you. Anything I can possibly do, let's stay connected, and I appreciate it. Stay healthy, wear your mask, and social distance.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah, and you too. Mask it up.
Keep drinking, all right?
Shit, all right.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks, Channing.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.